Hey guys, this is Casey. This tutorial is a DIY light diffuser. I made this one in particular for my ring light. It took me a little while to figure out, but I did eventually get the hang of it. It took me around 2 hours and cost me around $20 to make. You're going to need some sheer nylon fabric, some velcro, some clear silicone, some scissors, a measuring tape, paper clips, pins, gloves to protect your hands because it can get messy, and also a workspace protector, something that's kind of plasticky such as a Ziploc bag, trash bag, or paper protector. So you're going to get your fabric and either trace or measure out the size of the light that you're making this diffuser for. You can make this for any kind of light that needs diffused, specifically like photography lights or things of that sort. So after you trace that, depending on how diffused you need the light, you can hold it over your light and see how many layers you need. In my case, I made one layer and one 2 layer. And as you saw there, I just went ahead and pinned the fabric together, and that would just hold it together while I'm cutting it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. You're gonna wanna leave yourself around, I would say around 2 inches of allowance around all the edges, because we're gonna be making some flaps around the edges to kind of hem it later on. And the reason why I made one layer and one 2 layer is so I can have 3 options: 1 layer, 2 layer, or double them up for 3 layers total. And now after I've cut it out, I'm gonna go ahead and mark around the edges. Around every 2 inches I made a mark, about a 1/2 inch mark. And we're just going to go ahead and cut those slits down the edges to make our hems. I did 2 inches in particular because I felt like it was the quickest way and it looked the best as far as making this round shape. It'll be much easier if you're making a square or something like that. So I'm just taking the silicone and placing it on the flap that we made, and folding it over with a paper clip as a tool and smoothing it out and just kind of gluing it down using the silicone. And I did use the silicone just to kind of make sure the nylon was sealed, because this fabric does fray quite a bit, and also because I know my lights kind of get hot. So it would kind of help combat, like, how should I say this? Melting or whatever while I have my lights on. So yeah, you're just going to go ahead and put the silicone on and smooth it out afterwards, just to kind of hold it down. And if you need help holding it down, you can always place a paper clip on there for the first few minutes, just to hold it down and together. But I definitely wouldn't recommend leaving it on there the entire time because it might take shape. So after all that's done, you're going to go ahead and seal all the edges just one more time and make sure that everything's nice and covered, so there's no chance that it'll fray on you. And of course, once you're done with all this, you want to go ahead and let it dry. I just did mine all overnight, and this is what it looked like afterwards. So after all that's done, we're going to go ahead and attach the velcro so it can be placed onto my light. So in my scenario, I had to use 8 sets of velcro. My pieces, I had 16 pieces of velcro, 8 of each type, and mine were about 4 inches long. But you want to go ahead and measure yours out just to make sure it'll be long enough. And of course, always make it longer because you can always snip off the ends if you need to. So again, I used 16 pieces of 4-inch Velcro in total. 8 of each type. So my first piece is like the softer feeling Velcro side, and I'm just putting some silicone on the front of it and placing it down, facing down towards the table onto the nylon fabric. And with the second, I think this piece is called the hook, excuse me if I'm wrong, and I'm flipping it over to the back and placing the silicone on the opposite side of the last one, so they'll be able to connect together. And after you're done with that, this part is really crucial here. If you are using the silicone like I did, please feel welcome to use glue or whatever and see how that works out for your particular light. I did use the silicone here, but definitely make sure that you're covering the Velcro, because the silicone I don't think really likes to stick to the Velcro. So you want to make sure that's nice and covered so it doesn't really have a chance of pulling up on you. And once you're done with all of that, this is the final product. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.